Hello, and welcome to the first exciting episode of the second season of Fantasy Football Diarrhea. I'm your host, Tom fucking Handsome, and on my show, I always like to, make sure my balls are overinflated. Even the doctors persist on telling me it's unhealthy and most likely will lead to elephantitis. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We find ourselves with Thursday Night Football upon us. First regular season game in the NFL, first matchup for our fantasy football season. It's sure to be a shootout, sure to be a juicy contest. Two heavyweight quarterbacks going at it. Number one overall receiver, number one overall tight end. I know I'm jacked about it. Got Tom Brady about to extract his vengeance upon the league. But it not only marks the beginning of the NFL season, and not only marks the beginning of our fantasy football season, it also marks the beginning of the end of all of your pathetic fantasy hopes and dreams and desires of beating me this season. Because for me, it's my first step of a 17-step staircase to my ascension into golden pigskin immortality. Aha! But enough about that. I know you all will be dwelling upon that for the rest of the season, of the cold hard fact that I will win this year. But moving right along, behind me we have the coveted preseason power rankings bestowed to us unbiasedly by the fantasy gods. I know we're all excited to see who they place first, who they place last, where we all stand. But before we get into that, just want to talk about the draft-a-thon this past weekend. Had a great time, guys. Really appreciate everyone taking time off from friends, family, work, life events, whatnot to make it down here. I think golf was a great decision for the draft-a-thon. No one was dying of heat exhaustion. I think it was a lot of fun. Went pretty smoothly. But yeah, just wanted to say thanks, guys. It was a great time. Look forward to it each and every year. But beyond that, there were a few things that kind of grinded my gears that I kind of want to get into, that I want to get off my chest, just kind of vent to you and the league a little bit about. The first of which is Mike and David, and just what the fuck was that? Who the fuck do you think you are, thinking you can just quit halfway through the draft-a-thon? Who does that? You not only gift-wrapped the entire draft-a-thon and the draft order to Max and Ricky, you just took a dump on the rest of us. All of our hard work and dedication and practice and, competitive edge and whatnot. You just shit all over it. And just is grinding my gears. But I wasn't there in the matchup with you. I wasn't there seeing it firsthand. So I gathered some intel, tried to get to the bottom of it, tried to find out exactly what happened. So talked to some people, interviewed a few eyewitnesses, and here's what I've learned. For those of you that also were in the matchup and just need to be enlightened. It appears that around hole 5 that David and Mike had thus far at least been trying to some extent. They'd been swinging the club, making contact, good or bad, and trying to at least win. But around hole 5, the just grotesque, bulbous, huge vaginas that they had been thus far suppressing in their pants began to burst forth. It began to tear at the seams, and these gross, hideous monster vaginas began to drag the ground. One person accounted David, just repeatedly yelling, "Ow, ow, ow," as he took swing after swing at his golf ball, but just kept striking the fleshy beanbag of a vagina that, now drooped between his legs and onto the ground. One person said that Mike got his twisted up and the tire of the golf cart spun the whole cart out of control. Doctors told me that it is most certainly third-degree Indian rug burns on both the right and left labia of his giant, gaping, massive vagina. But just the whole thing just reminded me of that, just that stinky dump that we all have taken downstairs, and the downstairs bathroom that's in between the kitchen, the dining room, and living room. you know, we've all done it. We all think we're safe. I'm like, you know, this is fine. I can go here. This is my safe place. And you there. Maybe it's a thinker stinker. Maybe you're reading a little bit on fantasy, but it's no doubt about it. It's a stinky, horrifying dump, and you're right in the middle of it. You're right in the thick of things. You know, the going is just now getting tough, and you know you're just sitting there wallowing in the stench of it. It's probably by now it's seeped into most of the rooms in the house. No one's safe, but you're alone, so it's fine. Maybe someone's upstairs, but you know who cares. But then there's a knock at the door. The doorbell rings, and you're like, "Oh shit, go away! This can't happen. Not now. Please God, not now." But they keep knocking. They keep ringing the doorbell. You might even hear them talking. You're like, "Oh man, there's multiple of them. It's not just the FedEx man or something." And you're still just like, "Please go away. Please go away." And you know you're maybe on the biggest log in the forest right now. And there's just no stopping it right now. There's no getting up from this. And then you hear the person that was upstairs come down and like, "I'll get it." And you're like, "Oh no, don't get it, no." I mean, obviously you can't say that. And they get it, and what do you know? Surprise! It's a family gathering of over 20 to 30 of your family members, and you're sitting here in the living room or in the bathroom, 10 feet away from every room downstairs, and you just have to decide whether you're going to man up and finish what you started, like the rest of us did with our shitty ass golf games, or you be like Mike and David, and they're just going to pinch it off halfway and just live the rest of the day in regret of having that half of stew just brewing inside of them. We still all had to deal with it. We still had to smell it. Our dinner was ruined because of it, anyways. But at least we don't live with regret. And Mike and David, you'll have to from now on. So that's all I got to say about that. But after that, the other thing that's been grinding my gears is these packets, these awesome packets that Max and I worked really hard on, spent a lot of time on, spent a decent amount of money on, typed up, put a lot of thought into, mailed them all out to you, tracked all the orders, made sure you got them, and to find out that half the league, literally half the league, didn't complete them, had at least 2 weeks to finish them. It was only a few pages of questions. Most of it was just random reading material for then or for during the league or whatnot, but there's only a few pages of actual questions to fill out. And over half the league didn't do them. Half the league basically sat down at Christmas with us, and we're all in a circle, opening our gifts. Max and I will play the grandma, and we come over and we're like, "Oh, I made you this sweater out of love. I knitted it myself, and I've been knitting it for however long time. Try it on for me." I mean, 6 of you basically took said sweater. You just kind of looked at it. Whereas most people be like, "Oh, thanks, Grandma. You don't have to wear it. But it shows you're kind to her. She put some love and thought to it." But no, the 6 of you took the sweater, didn't smile at all, just looked at it with just disgust. You probably just sat there for a little bit, and she's, shaking over there in her chair, just smiling, waiting for you to, "Try it on, please." And you're just like, you just set the sweater down, and, you just lock eyes with her, gaze with her cold, dead, 90-year-old eyes, and she's still waiting for you to, try it on. Has no idea what's happening in the world around her, probably. But then, after a long pause, you're just like, "Fuck you, Grandma. Fuck you." And she's just taken back by it, and you're like, "Fuck you for your unconditional love. Fuck you for the money that you always give me that I so desperately need. Fuck you for all the gifts you always give me and I never give you any. Fuck you, Grandma. Fuck you." And by then, if she's not already dead from a heart attack and heartbreak, you then take the sweater. You take the sweater that she knitted you again out of love and dedication and hard work, and you take it and you cram it down your pants, and you just really grind it and smear it all on your 3-day-old junk funk. Then you pull it out, and once it's all just, nice and ripe and just thick with the stench of your 3-day-old junk funk, you walk over to her and you press it against her face, and she's over there like breathing in your gross junk funk and can't hardly breathe, and you're just watching her slowly die, on the inside at least, like we did. And then you lean in and you whisper the one thing that any 90-year-old never wants to hear, the one thing they just wish they could have just gone out with without knowing. You lean into her old, wrinkly 90-year-old ears, and you still got her, and you go, "Black Lives Matter." And you just see her eyes well up with terror and fear, and then she dies. And that's how Max and I felt for the 6 of you that didn't complete these packets. You basically killed the grandma that was our dreams of these glorious packets being fulfilled and all that we could accomplish with them. But I'll move on. I feel better now. I've gotten it off my chest. Appreciate the 6 of you that did fill it out. Myself, Max, David, Courtney, Andrew, and Howie. Thank you guys. Y'all could have just ignored that last rant. It wasn't towards you. But yeah, about those packets, some of the things I just want to go over, just some of the funny things I found in the few that were filled out, just some random ones, mostly from the personal part. I'll get to the other stuff later on. I won't say who said them. I'd like y'all to kind of figure out who said them or whatever you want to do with them. But one owner answered when asked where they saw themselves in 10 years. They answered, snapping necks and cashing checks. Another owner answered the question about what they would take from Liam Neeson in Taken 6 if they were the villain. They said they would take his acting career because it has to be pretty bad at this point if it's made it all the way to Taken 6. Another answered the same question with a little snippet of what would actually be in the movie. I thought that was kind of interesting. The first character says, "Your soul is mine." And that's Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat, the villain in Mortal Kombat, if you haven't seen it. And then Liam Neeson pauses, and says, "Good luck." Thought that was pretty funny. One person's favorite part about this league is that they got a free binder. Stings a little bit. Someone's historical figure that they saw themselves as is Rosa Parks, because they make moves, apparently. Thought that was pretty clever. One person decided not to answer any of the statistical questions we asked about their playoffs, their sackos, championships, whatnot, and simply just kept repeating that they had won twice and that the other things didn't matter. They answered that for multiple questions, even for questions that didn't even ask about the championship. Found that amusing. One person's particular hobby or pastime is or when asked if they had a particular hobby or pastime, they put, quote, "yes," end quote. But that'll do it for the packet readings for this week. So let's get to the preseason power rankings. Let's see where the old fantasy gods placed us. No. Boom. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. Let's get you closer here. We got Courtney up here, Yoni, Andrew, Chad, Mason, Max, Ricky, David, Chris, Sarah, Eric, and Mike. And I know what many of you are thinking. You're thinking, dang, Courtney, first time in this league and she's ranked number 1. Well, wrong. You don't see any numbers by these names, do you? Nope. And since she's a rookie, she's dead last. Got to prove yourself, Courtney. It's a terrible 2. Got to redo that. Trying to do too many things at once here. But after that, I have them ranked how I want them. The green ones are green monkeys, and the blue ones are silver snakes. Pretty much, I try to not place too much emphasis on potential, kind of how potentially a player could do. If they're like a rookie or they're on a new team, I try to place more emphasis on players that have already proven themselves. And running backs. So these first few teams seem to have the most good running backs. Got Yanni here at first, Andrew here at second, Chad here at third, myself here at fourth, Max at fifth, Ricky at sixth, David at seventh, Chris at eighth, Sarah at ninth, Eric at 10th, Mike at 11th, and Courtney at 12th. Yeah, like I said, some of these other teams could easily be the best teams. Eric's strategy seems completely strange and bizarre to me, but maybe the receivers do pan out to be better than the running backs. But for me, I like the running backs more, so the higher-ranking teams do just tend to have the better running backs. We do have more green monkeys at the bottom than we do at the top. As you know, we never win, so that seems appropriate. But yeah, excited about the season, guys. That'll do it for the show. And from all of us here at Fantasy Football Diarrhea, may all of you that didn't complete your packets know that you're dead to me until you do. Good night, everyone.